Okay, here we go. Just get my thoughts together for a minute. This is one of my continuing video series called Once Upon a Child. Some of this stuff's on TikTok, some is on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. The following accounts you can catch this on, in case you're wondering. Charles W. Virginia on TikTok, the Chuck7316 account on YouTube, the Chuck0373 account on Instagram, the Chuck7316 on Instagram, Charles Grimmett on Facebook, the one with the blue line shirt on. And yeah, we're rolling. But let me talk about this series. I basically talking about this, talking about people and stuff, talking about some of my childhood stuff and some stuff I've seen from other people over the last say decade and a half or so. People, other kids. Some of it some of my experience dealing with kids, venturing and coaching little league sports, baseball, football, baseball, flag football, basketball, and the things I just seen over the last, I would say about the last maybe 20 years. This one I'm going to talk about particularly is the village part. And you always say and village is like the other people your kids deal with that's important that you need support system. And I see a situation where you have good family support system. Me myself and I gotta give props to my late grandparents. Damn, I don't know where I be at. I know y'all think like, well, just trust me on this one. Everybody knows me well. Y'all understand. Well, y'all go blast on it. They ain't talking about. Yeah, I'm talking about the grandparents. We're talking about the support system at this point. Especially on my mom's side of the family. Yes, they were very important. They got me through some right the worst part of my childhood, and doggone it, because of that, probably how I am now dealing with people, and they showed me a little something, something. Not gonna go so much there. I'm gonna go into observation of other things. It looks like also, like I said, we're talking about the village. Aunts, uncles, cousins, whatever. What do you kids have? I mean, I look at some of these kids now, and I look at these kids, and I see mama trying, daddy trying, but I really sometimes kind of wonder, and I don't even blame them on this. It's like they don't have the family support system around them, and it's sad. I watch this break down, and it's sad. I watch him just literally almost have no breakdown, frustrations. You count on the relative maybe to watch a kid and something happens, or they just don't seem to care about the kid as much. You know, and I know you're saying it ain't my kid. I know a lot of people have that mentality. I'm gonna tell you, from a guy who don't have no kids, who's an uncle, who's an older cousin, and all that, you cannot be that type of mentality. That's still part of your blood. It's like, okay, it ain't come you, but it related to this good person somehow, some way. And the sad part is, this is why we all these coaches. I think a lot of them are here. If you have to see this video, John, Jimmy, Nick, if you have to see this video posted at some point, hey, thank you all guys out there. You know what I'm talking about. My guys from flag football, or even uh, um, or even some of the other people I've coached with and done stuff with, tutoring with, and just like y'all filling the gaps was needed. And it's sad that it seems like a lot of people in family, this is a big breakdown in family. We talking about where Big Mama at and all that. Yeah, this era's gone to a whole different thing. And after watching some of this, I just be there and be like, what the heck? It just terribly it hurts, it's painful, but you see there's missing gaps in the family. You see there's missing pieces and places. And people, even in your neighborhood, you don't have that, hey, the guy down the street, hey, look, watch out for the kid down the street, or hey, look out for a kid. Or hey, keep my eyes going on this with the kid in the neighborhood, make sure you don't get in trouble. And even with our bad guys, even back in my day when I was younger, you going the wrong way. The bad guy like, look here, man. I don't care what's going on, you at home, whatever else, but you're not gonna go over here and hang with us. You're gonna go back home, get your butt back to school. And I had a situation still in one of those a couple of years ago. I was conflicting a guy coming home from a tutoring thing I was doing at church. I saw a kid about 8 years old outside, where he was on. I told him, "Hey, it's 9 o'clock at night. Like, what you doing out here?" It's like on Tuesday night, I think if I remember correctly. I'm on my way home. Like, who are you out here this time of night? And I remember actually having a confrontation with these people. They were in a van, and they basically told me they had to go home. I'm looking like, okay, you going home? We talking about you ain't his parent, you ain't dad, uncle, brother, cousin, whatever. You're not even the kid guy alone in his block. So we get in this situation where I'm literally like about to fight, yeah, over some stranger kid. Well, I'm gonna put a look. I was in some dangerous situation. I'm taking on 2 1 guys at night. I don't know they just them two and others. I was like, hey, look, I do what I got to do at this point. This kid got to get home. He need to be out of there. Fortunate enough, I think they kind of thought that I was kind of crazy enough to actually think about taking on 2 on 1. They may have thought better of it. And I come back down Family Dollar down the street from me. A few months later, saw a posted their van on sitting on the vehicle. They had robbed the Family Dollar. That's just crazy, right? So these kids get recruited to become a bad guy, a bad kid with everybody else. How do you do that? What village we got raising our kids now? This is a very example of some of the bad stuff I've seen. And I found that I just saw a kind of beginning trend of this, like people go out the streets now to get kids trying to do all sorts of stuff. So now this village come kids trying to raise them right. Hey, I'm put you in the hood life. So that way you getting caught in trouble, and this is what they do. These criminals do. They use the kids, they get them caught in trouble. No kids gonna get a little slap on the wrist. Tell her they gonna can't throw away in life in jail. Go to jail for doing some couple illegal activities. You might get a slap on the wrist. Maybe you might spend a half a minute in juvie. That's about it. That's basically what's going on. That's some of it. Then, like I said, you don't have a family structure, you don't have a friend structure, you don't have neighbors. I make it a point to talk to most of all my neighbors as much as I can. There's a couple of my may I avoid. There's a whole other issue. I'll go into that. That's actually gonna go in my mental health video, sort of separate from this. But there's a couple people I don't deal with around here. Not many, but I pretty much try to talk to everybody, pretty much open everybody, and I've got at least 6 phone numbers, 7. They usually don't call me. I usually call, check on them. I heard some stuff happening to families. That's what we supposed to do. Especially you got kids around. Of course, my neighborhood, there ain't a whole lot of kids now. There's a couple here and there, and I see them make sure they're out. But they pretty much, parents got them. They don't go too much. But like I said, I've seen situations where things just go left with kids and parents. And even over the years, I've seen when I was a kid, I had this one particular neighbor where the mama would leave the kids home, and one of the boys never went to school. And I came home, and I don't see no dad, uncle, cousin. There's 4 boys, and this is like the second oldest boy. And I'll tell you the truth this day today. I'm sitting at home. We go to Easter. I'm about 11 years old. Me and my brother. We go to Easter. Go out Easter shopping. Come back home. House broken into. Behold, what's took? A couple things of jewelry and the video game system. What the heck? Hold on. Time out. I knew exactly who did that. Trust, believe me, it got ugly. I went over next door and I went bananas. I went crazy. Yeah, I was me 11-year-old me ready to fight a whole household by myself. I did not give a doggone. And because this kid probably had no guy, no nothing, probably daddy wasn't his life, didn't have nobody around there, so he gets a lot of mama like, okay, I can't do nothing. I leave him at home, we gonna stay home school. And that was it. So he stayed home school, so he got nothing to do, go break in the house and take something next door. Sure enough, so they had that confrontation. They wasn't living there too much longer after that. This is how I was back then. I might be a little like that now. Maybe not to the extreme point. Well, something like that I probably would be. But yeah, it would have been ongoing pretty bad at my age 11. I wouldn't even let that roll that long. We'd have been at it every single day until they moved out the neighborhood or until you met you broke in the house. On the real. And that's what I'm saying is you got these people, and this is like, I'm talking 1980s here. I ain't gonna know how bad it is now, man. I see little kids out here on the block. They hanging out. I see them at night. And I understand that in some cases, we're not the parent, but somebody got to step in and say something, do something, be about something, and do something. I see people do stuff better. I'll say this much to shout to my younger cousins who got kids. They have stayed out. Their kids, I've never heard them be in liquor trouble at this point in life, and I'm thankful for that. All of them. All my little second cousins, they've been good. I talked to some of them. I've actually went to visit a couple of them last summer, and I was like, okay, good. Life's going good with everybody over there. But it takes all of us, and I think not just beyond that, like, where's the old guy at the corner? Hey, what's up? Hey, hey, come over here. Hey, what you doing at school? That's what's going on there. You know, I ain't just talking about the school teacher. I'm talking about just random people. You don't have to have a full community organization. You don't have to do stuff I did. Look, I have a level of volunteer that's probably off the chart that most people who have a lot of who are billionaires, who are millionaires, who have time to do it, wouldn't do it. And they got promised $10 billion, they wouldn't volunteer their time for nothing like I did on that level. It's just I don't expect that, but hey, on your block, a couple kids, go shout out them, see what's going on. Mama had a hard time the kid, hey, go over there. Maybe mother had a time the kid, made the kid around time. Mama got a toy, can't put the kid together. Put the kid toy together for the little boy, a little girl. Just do little things like that. I ain't actually got to change the entire world, be a whole revolutionary, but this village has got to do a lot better job. I'm just saying. And I know I'm a little longer rainy today, and I usually don't be longer rain like this normally on most of these videos, but yeah, I have a lot of thoughts of mine on that. Really, I should probably go on for the next 3 hours about that, about stories and things that I've seen. But I'm gonna put it like this: it's just time to. It's just time that you just have to say, okay, just time to just do something, not for you, but for somebody else. Do something for a kid. Just random. Don't care. Say, I did a kid. Like I'll give you one more if I get off here. Like every time I'll be at the store shopping and little kids be crying, hollering, screaming, yeah, that. And I just be looking like, okay, so I go walk over to him like, hey, what's up? And I ask him, what you crying about? And they look at me like, who, what? And it throws them, and it's crazy. Instantly, in the crying, solution done. Now, as a parent, let me talk to them for a second. Give me like 10 seconds with them. I'd be like, boom, calm down, kid, all right. Maybe I cut, but now you give them thought about it. Okay, so somebody else asks what's going on, it does process something in their mind. Don't ask me what it is yet. Look, I actually took psychology in college. I got a C in the class. Okay. I am not the psychological expert. I just understand some basic human being stuff. But I'm saying is, if it takes a village to raise a kid, I don't see a lot of villages out here right now like I used to back in the day. And basically, I've seen like about a 4 year deterioration of that. So if you see a kid outside, hey, just say hi. Hey, see what's going on. I ain't saying you gotta be up there and go run a whole youth program or nothing. Hey, go let the kid out there. Hey, stop. I stop shoot basketball with them. What every now and then I'm going down the neighborhood or just say hi to them and see what's going on. Hey, ask what's going on with your life. You playing sports? What you doing in school? How your life doing? Because somebody, at least they know somebody cared. That makes you down the road saved all of us a lot of trouble. Everything. Hey, somebody should think about me for a minute. And start with simply like that. Trust me, it'll make the biggest difference in the world. Okay, I'm done.